can remember this one time when I was coming back from class one night. Class had just broken, and it took me about 45 minutes to get home from where I was, and hopped in the car and headed back home. And I remember getting in the car, starting the ignition, dropping in a CD. And then the next thing I knew, I was home. At some point during that trip, I completely zoned out from everything that was going on. That 45-minute trip took, in my mind, seconds to go from a school all the way home. It was wild when I think back on it now. How could time just disappear like that? You know, in our everyday busy lives, it might seem, it might feel like time is just falling away like sand through an hourglass, where we wake up and we automatically have things that we know we need to do. We take a look at our calendars for the day. We see our scheduled events that we need to do. We think about all of the things that need to get done before we can go to bed at the end of the day, before we can get to lunch in the middle of the day, before we can eat our breakfast. Our mind is already going about things that we need to get done. Now, there's this story in the 19th chapter of the book of 1 Kings where we find this great prophet Elijah, who has been running for his life, looking to find God. So he comes to this mountain, Mount Horeb, and when he's there, he listens for God. And all of a sudden, there's this mighty wind that comes by, a deafening wind that just blows and howls. But God wasn't in the wind. Then there's this earthquake that just shakes the ground underneath him, and still God's not there. Finally, this burst of fire just kind of engulfs everything around him, and still God is not in the fire. So Elijah waits, and he listens. And in a still, small voice, a tiny voice, God speaks to Elijah. You see, within this story, we find that God speaks not in the loud booms of life, but in the quiet moments. You know, within our daily lives, it seems like life is speaking to us through our calendars, through our social media posts, through all the things that are just attracting all of our attention, constantly trying to pull us in to make sure that our attention is grabbed. What if we were to take just small portions out of our day and just be present in the moment? What would we be able to hear? What would we be able to experience? What would the God of all creation be speaking to us? What would the Holy Spirit be breathing upon each and every one of us in those quiet moments when we are just still? But I do wonder what it would look like for you just to carve out a moment to step back, to be silent, and to be present in the moment where you are. Maybe it's right before you grab the shower nozzle to turn on the water. Maybe it's before you put your keys into the ignition and start the car. Maybe it's while the coffee slowly brews, filling the space with a new aroma, inviting you into a new experience. I wonder what it would look like for you to set aside those simple, everyday moments, to be fully present, to experience your day, and to give thanks.